You got to write it on your ones, you travel on your ones, you perform on your ones, then you kill or you die on your ones, and then you go home on your ones. Do you know what I mean? And it's
fucking shit, that
mate,
doesn't sound shit, man.
It's shit. You're like in terms of like the glamour of showbiz, you're like one rung above like a juggler.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
My name is Nick Nagaka and you are locked into Culture TV. For the culture, by the culture. Let's go.
Doc Brown inside the building. What's going on, my bro?
Mate, I'm happy. I'm happy to be here. Love being in Manchester.
Sunny Manchester,
My home from home. Yeah, normally like I'm on the train and then I'll hit Wilmslow.
Yeah.
And even if it was like California when I left London, like I hit Wilmslow, it just starts pissing down.
It just gets grey.
It starts raining.
Yeah.
As if that's like welcome to Manchester. So yeah, it's a beautiful sunny day. I'm back in my second home and I'm feeling good, yeah.
Yeah, you're just down for a couple of days then?
Couple of days, visit some friends,
yeah,
do a few of these,
yeah,
then I'm out.
Yeah, man. Right, so it's all when we start these shows, it's always a bit weird because like we're having a sick conversation before and we're like, right, let's just
and then you have like the interviewee type
then you have that formal
and it all goes dead.
Yeah. But what we were talking about before, because I think what I find interesting about your journey is that a lot of people now will know you from the comedy and the acting.
Yeah.
But you are from you really are from our scene. You are really from this rap scene, and you know, you come from the whole Deal Real Records fam originally, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, from the very start, like as a kid, it was just, you know, when you used to just look around the streets for rap, like sometimes you'd hear someone rapping. Do you know what I mean?
Or do you rap too?
Yeah, them ones. Like you see some boys like just in the park, like just sat on the wall rapping and stuff like that. That was where it really started. And then just me and my little brother. And then, you know, you get a bit older, you pretend to be older so you can get into jams and stuff like that. Yeah. And I used to go and watch like battles and stuff like that when I was underage. And then when I was old enough to like go more regularly and start going in the battles. And then obviously you just meet people from that.
You was doing the jump off, weren't you, back in the day?
Jump off was my first battles were Mudlums, which used to be in Camden at Dingwalls. Yeah. And then there was like the Mud family, like Skinny and Task Force and them and Intense and Mongo. They used to run that night. It was proper like. When I look at the battles now, how friendly it is, and there's girls there and all of that. That night, Mudlums was.
It's become a bit of a pantomime now, isn't it?
Yeah, it was hardcore back then, and you had to freestyle and improvise, and there was fights all the time. Like I got in a fight just for like beat a guy, not beat a guy, like in battle, and then he couldn't take it. You know, it was violent. It was scary.
So what did he say to you when you beat him?
Nothing. You could just see he was pissed because I could see his friends laughing at him, and because like I was in those days, I was one of the first kind of rappers I think to sort of take the piss out of myself a little bit as well. Yeah. You know, because I wasn't a street guy. Like I knew street people, but I wasn't a street guy. Like, you know, I had my glasses on and that. So I think it was a bit embarrassing to lose to me for certain people who were more like tuggish,
more road
do you know what I mean? Like more road guys. Yeah. It was embarrassing for them. So the best way to save face was probably to beat me up, because what am I going to do? That's when I really wanted to like be a part of a crew rather than just, because I'd go with like just my mates from school or whatever, and like we weren't road guys, you know. So I always wanted a crew. And then when I like bucked Reveal and Tony D, that was it. I was like, I've actually got like a proper clique now.
Yeah.
And everyone in Poisonous, like our other original member, Therapist, you know, these were street guys. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when shit would happen to me, sometimes I'd have to hold it down because like either they themselves or people that they knew with would avenge me. Like when I'm like, I don't really want to get into it. Do you know what I mean? But it was cool in another way because I just felt protected. And then I had a kid young as well, like, and sometimes I was mad nervous. 24, 25.
Yeah, that's young for a kid.
Yeah, and sometimes I'd be nervous, you know, like just because you know you get into that street world around rap, whether you like it or not.
Whether you like it or not, bro. Yeah.
Like you were saying, these days it's a bit more of a pantomime. I think it's good because kids can get into it, girls can get into it, and whatnot, and it's much safer.
I think it's just the clear difference between.
But in the old days, the lines were blurred, bruv. Like if
there
you
was the hip hop scene and the grime
it.
scene in it. So
Yeah.
the grime scene's always been a lot more road.
Yeah, and I was linked to that as well because like 03, like I say, one of the original members of Poisonous, Therapist, he was the one that showed me about grime.
Right.
So him and Tony were East, and me and Reveal were West London. So when we were with Therapist, like he'd always have like Bruiser with him.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Or Dirty Dugs as he was then, before he was Goods.
Yeah. Doug's first, wasn't it?
Yeah, Titch and all of them. Do you know what I mean? So I just thought, these are those guys that rap really fast.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I didn't think anything of it. And Therapist was always showing me like, bruv, this is a thing.
Yeah.
So Therapist was the one who taught me how to rap like that, to rap double time, you know, and so Poisonous always had that little element of grime attached to it, even though we weren't making grime. Yeah. And I remember bumping into Wiley at Cargo actually, you know. And I said to him at the time, like, this is a thing you lot got. This is a thing. And it's in the days where, you know, no one even knew what to call it, as his single famously said. It's weird looking back and thinking, oh, you were like on the edge of history.
You know what's weird when I look back at them times, because coming from Virus Syndicate, we fused grime with dubstep. That was our thing. So we come up through the grime scene, through Sidewinder and all that. We did all that. Yeah. But our sound, we had quite a lot of dubstep influence within our sound, and I remember at that specific time, the whole sort of grime, the end of the garage era, the dark garage sounds, and like the whole dubstep thing was kind of one thing, and no one knew what to call it. Like no one knew where. And I remember Mixmag put out this big feature on the whole scene, and they had it all in as like one big pot. So you had like Wiley, Scream, Benga, like everyone being put into this one big pot of like,
because it's easier from a journalistic point of view. It's easier to just go, this is this, so this is urban or whatever it is.
But looking
it's
now,
easier to describe
in 2021, you would never align someone like Skrillex with Skepta.
No, of course.
And you would never think that has come from the same place.
Not at all. But it's, you know, music is so much more sophisticated now, and the whole, you know, everything around genre is more sophisticated, and kids that listen to music now would not, they're not as strict about shit, which I think is positive. Like back in the day, we would have been like, no, I'm a hip hop kid.
Hip hop,
do you know what I mean?
That's it, nothing else.
Do you know what I mean? And I always listen to indie. I listen to folk music. I listen to all my mum's music, like reggae and rare groove and that. But I never talked about it. Because it's just like, I am hip hop. Like, this is my
my tribe. It's quite tribal, innit? Like the way we build them.
That's how it was. And now, like, kids, I'm kind of impressed. Like, if you're like 15 now, you don't limit yourself to one thing. Do you know what I mean? You're a bit more open, I think. And that's the way listening to music has evolved as well, because we would have listened to albums. You know, we would have found an artist, listened to all of their work, track 1 to track 14 or whatever. Whereas kids now, they're just like, I want that song, I like that song, and then they can just put it all in their playlist.
Exactly.
We didn't have that freedom. We had to buy the record or tape it from a friend. Do you know what I mean? So you have this complete package from the start, really.
But it's also kind of made it like with the whole streaming side of things, it's kind of made it a big pot of it's much more difficult to manage logistically from a music business perspective. But in a sense, it gives you more opportunity to get your music out there now that everyone's consuming it in that way.
It's the trade-off though, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, like Taylor Swift has like been really vocal about taking her music off Spotify and saying that Spotify screws artists. I don't want anything to do with it. Which is cool in some ways, but it's fine for Taylor Swift. She's gonna sell millions regardless, anyway. It's a lot harder if you're a new act. You need Spotify as a platform for people to access your music, even though you're making pennies off of the streams. So it's a real difficult trade-off. Like, I don't agree with the splits at all. But at the same time, like without Spotify, if you're not Taylor Swift, how are you
getting out there?
How are you getting to people?
Well, they control the marketplace. And to be honest, like, I would say that like over the last 4 years, I've seen more consistent money from my masters than previous.
Yeah.
Because of Spotify.
Yeah.
Consistent, regular, and you know what? I can now align that money to bills, etc. I can plan with it. Whereas previous, when you're selling CDs, like bro, or downloads.
Sale or returns, bro. Like Fridays.
Sale and return,
Fridays, I used to have all my CDs and I'd go into all the shops.
Yeah.
London, Manchester, Bristol. It was a mission.
Exactly.
Like with like 5 CDs or 10 vinyls. Like going to the shop, my little sale or return book.
Yeah.
And then come back the next week, see how many's gone.
Yeah.
Do they need to re-up or not?
Yeah.
Like, and if like on those one weekends you come back and they haven't sold any and you've made that whole journey, you'd be like,
and that goes against your profits again.
Yeah, it was killer. It was killer. So it's good that kids don't have to do that now.
It's strange, isn't it, how it seems to have changed so fast, but just so dramatically as well.
Yeah, and that's a reflection of the technological revolution that we are sort of the guinea pigs of.
Yeah.
I think it's easy for people not to recognize how profound this period of history is. Yeah. Like this is as profound as the Industrial Revolution.
Oh, without a doubt.
Like it's that deep.
Yeah.
Because if you're our vintage, you were a young adult or a teenager without any of this technology.
Yeah.
So we're the last of the Mohicans in a way of people who remember what life was like before this. So we really are in the perfect position still as relatively young people to really look at the profound effects of this technological revolution that we're experiencing. Whereas my kids are teenagers now. They don't know any different. This is their world. You know, this is how everybody operates. Yeah. And it's sort of accepted without question. Whereas we're a bit more like I still like every time I turn on my fucking phone it says like you got to back up to the cloud. I'm still like, nah, bruv, I don't. I don't have to do shit you tell me.
You know, it's weird. Like my daughter, she's just turned 3. And she has such ability with her iPad.
Yeah.
And she's 3.
Because it's almost organic with them. It's like an extension of their body. Yeah. Whereas for us, it's like, you know, if I lose my phone, that's a bitch. But at the same time, if you've ever lost your phone or for some reason you left it behind somewhere, the peace that you get, like, it's kind of weird. Like you can't be reached.
You feel lost.
Of course, you're scared, you're terrified, and everything. But like when that anxiety passes, it's like, oh yeah, like
this is what it was.
Being human, unreachable, you know. There's something
How
enigmatic about that.
How the fuck did we ever get around life?
We were slick. We were way slicker, man. Like I knew everybody's numbers.
Do you remember you remember them going payphone to like
payphone,
ring your friend's mum.
Payphone.
It's fingy playing.
What even is a payphone? What even is a payphone now? I'll tell you the deepest one was if you met a girl. Yeah. Then the next thing, she gives you her number, but it's her house number. So like you have to bell her. And possibly, talk to her dad. Bruh. And then you're trying to organize like a dry hump or whatever, like via her parents. Like, so you say, oh, can I speak to so-and-so? And then they come to the phone, you're like, can I come round? Like, your like the amount of times, like you have to organize all this shit on the phone. All this shit on the phone. I remember this one girl in Crouch End, organizing all this shit on the phone. I get on the tube, Willesden Green, all the way across the city, 22 stops. And she lived far from the station as well. You go around there and like, her dad answers the door. Then you got to sit in the kitchen and like be polite until you can go up to her room.
And dry hump
and then leave. It's bizarre. Like these kids don't know they're born. They can organize shit in private and meet like wherever, you know. We didn't have that luxury. So I'm saying like we were slicker, man. We had to think on our toes. Yeah. You know, and when you like if you missed it, you missed it. Yeah. Simple as that. So like you and your boys, like for me, it was like, you know, we organize at school on Friday. Like this is what's going down. Yeah. Either you just got to be there. Like we're going to meet at 12 and then we're out.
And if you're not there.
Yeah, if you're not there, you're not there. Yeah. And we'd just be out. That's what I really remember. You'd meet up at like lunchtime. We'd just be out.
I just remember like, I remember like everyone would just turn up at your door. Like, so like.
Yeah, they knock for you. They knock for you.
Yeah, when I was like 11, 12, like, your boys would just knock on the door and then you go out. And that's it. But obviously, when I was like 13, phones came, you know what I mean? Everyone had a phone by that.
Yeah.
But then primary school and like the first sort of year of like secondary school, like year 7, like it was still that. And then it just bang, changed.
Yeah, well, I didn't get a phone until I was out of college. So like, cause I'm a couple years older than you. So like when I was like 15, 16 and we were out there.
Yeah.
It was properly still like the knock for you or phone your mum.
Yeah.
Like it's literally like that.
Yeah.
And it's so weird to think about now because kids don't tend to even phone each other.
No.
It's just text or whatever like medium that they message on.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like my daughter will message me on Instagram. I'm like, she's like, oh, you didn't reply to my message. I'm like, you're messaging me on Instagram. I don't have notifications on for Instagram.
No.
I wouldn't be able to get anything done and just be ping all day.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't answer back. Text me or call me.
Yeah.
Like if you call a kid, they'd be like, why the hell are you calling me? Whereas back in the day, it would have to be like phone call or knock.
Yeah, it's
weird.
Weird. People think it's weird if you ring them now.
Exactly, yeah.
It's like you invading my space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where we're at.
What do you think, like, you've seen how social media is changing the world, certainly in terms of like a political sense.
Yeah, it's crazy.
What do you think about like platforms like Twitter censoring people?
Yeah, it's such a difficult argument, you know. Like I must have had about 70,000 followers or something on Twitter.
Yeah.
And then 2017 it was I just got off it because it was ruining my day. Like I'd wake up in the morning.
It's addictive, isn't it?
Yeah, I'd wake up in the morning, check Twitter, and it'd just be like hundreds of people calling each other cunts and racist stuff. And I'd get angry, get in there, like arguing. And then one day I just woke up and I thought, why am I
engaging?
Why am I waking up and ruining my day? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I just deleted it.
Really?
Yeah.
So you deleted the account?
I deleted it. And my agents were like,
what have you done?
Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And I just, at the same time, I was sort of transitioning out of stand-up and into acting. And Twitter, for me, was really useful when I was doing stand-up to, like, move tickets. Do you know what I mean? Sell tickets, get people to come to gigs and that. And then once I was making more TV and movies, I just thought, I don't really need to promote myself. Like, I'm in this BBC show, I'm in this Netflix thing, I'm on this Amazon thing. Like, I think Amazon can do the promotions. Do you know what I mean? I think I'll be all right. So I packed it in, and you know what? There was a brief moment where I thought, oh, you're so dumb. You've just like lost all these followers. And then I just thought, who cares, man?
Yeah.
Who cares? So Twitter, I stopped, and I can't deal with the anger and the negativity on there.
Yeah.
At the same time, it's like, how do you, I think this is what the government's struggling with at the moment. Where does freedom of speech begin and end? Yeah. Because we're always talking about freedom of speech. I want to be able to say, like, I want to protest against the government. I want to say this is fucked up. I want to say this person, I want to be able to say that, which is all fine. But then does that also mean you can be racist? You know, you can be offensive because it's freedom of speech. Yeah. So I think that's what the government's struggling with right now. Like, I don't think they know where the line is. Yeah. And I think it is quite a difficult argument. It is, because I mean, I've had a lot of, like, for example, like Wiley getting banned, Donald Trump getting banned from Twitter. I've had a lot of these arguments with people, and even myself, I feel torn. Like when Donald Trump got deleted from Twitter. For me, that was a mistake, because I hate the bones of it. I hate the bones of the man. I hate him. But at the same time, you take him off Twitter, that works in his favor so much. He becomes like a martyr. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
But it took away his voice.
It did, to some extent, yeah. Yeah, it definitely hurt him personally, because he loves being the center of attention. Yeah. But in terms of his followers, I don't think it affected them. If anything, it made them love him more.
I think it affected his ability to incite, like, for example, the Capitol riots.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, blatantly orchestrated by Twitter, and that speech he did.
Yeah.
So by removing that ability to reach that many people...
No question.
It had a positive effect in that sense. But I agree with you as well, like, it's censorship. It's a dangerous precedent, do you know what I'm saying? Because like, if you're proper anti-Trump like I am, then the people that you look up to or the opinions that you follow
could be argued that if they're the other end of the extreme
spectrum,
against Trump, then why shouldn't they be banned?
Exactly.
For example, like I just started following this guy on Instagram, Danny fucking Price.
Yeah.
He's Goldie's son.
Right, Goldie's son?
Yeah.
Like Goldie D&B Goldie?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and he's like a deep guy. I think he used to do like funny little memes and whatnot.
Yeah,
and then all of a sudden, he just started getting like political, just getting angry about injustice.
Yeah.
And you know, sometimes you see something, you like agree with every word.
Yeah.
It's like that with him.
Yeah.
But some people might call it extreme.
Yeah.
I personally wouldn't, because
Yeah.
he just sort of fights for equality, justice, you know, tolerance, the kind of things that I'm into.
Basic common human values.
Yeah. But he's angry about it, you know. And I think, you know, if you ban the opposite of him, then maybe you have to ban him as well.
Yeah.
And I don't want to see that. So it's a very difficult argument,
and also
the whole freedom of speech thing.
If you know, if for example we're talking about extremities here in the form of like Donald Trump and whatnot, but once the bar is set there, it's only going to get lower.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. And I know that there's a lot of people who would argue that my beliefs are extreme.
Yeah.
Whereas I see my belief, like I see myself as a hippie basically.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like when it really boils down to it,
I
I don't believe in any of this shit. Like I don't believe in money. I don't believe in race. I don't believe in borders. Do you know what I mean?
But how can you not believe in money?
Because I think it's invented. I think someone at some point invented money, right?
Yeah.
It was someone's imagination. That's what human beings are, right? We're balls of imagination. It's the only thing that separates us from animals, really. We've got this kind of free thinking thing going on. It's the gift and the curse of being human.
Yeah.
Consciousness.
Yeah.
That's the gift and the curse. It's the most beautiful thing because we can create art.
Yeah.
We can love. We can do all sorts of incredible things. We can invent. But at the same time, it's the curse because we know our mortality.
Yeah.
My dog is a G because she doesn't know about life and death.
Yeah.
She's just happy every day.
Yeah.
Whereas we understand with our consciousness that deep down, life is meaningless because the only guarantee is death, right? So consciousness is the gift and the curse. So this consciousness that gives us imagination allows us to think of ways to make our state of consciousness, aka life, easier for ourselves, right? So it makes us selfish. So someone imagined using their consciousness the concept of money.
Yeah.
Like, what if there's a thing that I have, but these other pricks don't have, right? Which is going to make my life easier.
Well, it would have been sheep or food.
Yeah, it
or
started with
something
wheat.
back in the day.
It started with wheat because we were hunter-gatherers, right? And then when we realized, like, you could
agriculture.
farm wheat.
Yeah.
Agriculture changed everything. You know, we're talking about revolutions. The agricultural one was the first huge one.
Well, because it stopped.
Because you said
the
you didn't have to keep moving,
wasn't
you
it?
could stop, chill, right?
Food
but not
here
fully
forever.
chill because you've got to farm the wheat.
Yeah.
So one guy at some point went, you know what? I don't want to farm the wheat.
Yeah.
I just want to kick back and eat the bread.
Yeah.
So what do I do to make these pricks do it and I don't do it?
Yeah.
You know, and it might have, at first it might have been like, I've got the longest beard.
Yeah.
So I just say, like, if you've got a mad long beard, you don't have to do it.
Yeah.
So women have to do it, kids have to do it, and all these short beard pricks, they have to do it.
You know what? Have you read *Sapiens*?
Yeah, Sapiens has the same argument, right?
So they say what their argument in that is that for like 70,000 years, whatever, human beings were wandering around.
Yeah.
And then they started smoking mushrooms and not smoking, but eating mushrooms. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They started smoking all that shit. And so then you'd have this guy who'd get high and he'd see some kind of like wolf and he'd then go and tell all the tribe about the wolf.
Stories, basically stories, imagination.
Yeah.
These are the things.
And he was then the wolf god, so we all follow the wolf god.
There
The
you
wolf
go.
god says this.
Perfect example,
Yeah.
right? So at some point, someone invented money. At some point, someone went, like I could make even more money and have even more power if I spread this news story that people with this color skin.
Yeah.
It's like being little kids, like, who's got, I remember when I was at primary school, like a lunch break, you get the little school cups, the plastic cups, the different color ones.
Yeah.
And be like,
The
who's
little
got a blue
round
cup?
ones like
Who's got a blue cup?
Yeah.
And if you had a blue cup, they'd be like, I've got a blue cup. You're like, you could come to my party.
Yeah.
Like, you can't come. It's as childish as that.
Yeah.
So these guys have got brown skin, so like they're not invited to the party.
Yeah.
And then you tie that in with money, and all of a sudden, there's this underclass.
Yeah.
And we're still suffering from that shit to this day, right up to when 3 people with brown skin take a penalty and they get a wave of abuse. You know, you can trace it all the way back. So I say I'm a hippie because deep down I don't believe in race.
Yeah.
So some dickhead made it up.
Yeah.
Don't believe in money because some dickhead made it up. I don't believe in borders because some dickhead made those up.
Yeah.
I obviously understand that they really do exist now.
Yeah.
I just think they're wrong. I think they're wrong.
The crazy thing about race is you're actually right though. It doesn't actually
exist.
It's just melanin.
Someone made it up.
My mum's white. My dad's Asian. That gives me a nice little brown tint.
Yeah.
In the winter it fades. In the summer it's stronger.
Go grey.
You know what I mean? Like.
Yeah.
But that's it. It's just it's as simple as that.
And mixed race people a lot of the time, like we cotton onto that earlier because we've experienced. Because
we're both.
Because we experienced both sides, and you know, you constantly hear about black people are like this, but white people are like that, and those stereotypes are sort of they're based on a truth, but that truth that they're based on has been built off of a lie, if you see what I mean. So black people are, you can't deny it, they are different from white people. Culturally, physically, there's loads of things that are different.
But not genetically.
Not genetically. That's all because of tracing it all the way back to that prick who went, what if?
Yeah.
What if I pretend this thing
They're as different as Russians and Irish.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this is the crazy thing about it is that we use differences to create superiority.
Absolutely. And for you to have that little bit more power to make your life easier, because human beings, the worst of us, are so selfish.
Yeah.
So selfish. They just don't care what happens. They have no concept of cause and effect. They have no idea about, the theory of relativity, that every action has a positive or negative reaction. All they care about is what suits them. Mm-hmm. That's why we're having this, the climate crisis is going to be so hard to solve, because the people in charge just think, well, I'm going to be dead. Like, who cares? Like, the planet floods, like, whatever.
Is it, how bad, I'm not clued up on this climate crisis. How bad actually is it?
If you believe in the science, and I know that is a contentious question for a lot of people, we've got about 15 years before the damage is irreparable. But at the same time, I'm philosophical about it, because maybe this shit already happened. Do you know what I mean? In fact, it has already happened. Like, we've already had climate crises that have destroyed all living things on the planet. And then the planet started again.
Yeah.
Maybe we've reached that point where we fucked it. Do you know what I mean? And we deserve to all get wiped out and the planet to refresh.
Yeah.
You know, the planet deserves better than fucking humans.
Yeah.
You know, we're the worst.
Yeah.
Some of us were quite cool, but that was a long time ago.
Well, if you look at in the Bible, you got the story of the flood, right? Noah's Ark. But that story, it's not just in Christianity, it's in so many different religions around the world.
Yeah.
So there must have been fucking something.
Yeah. Well, we've always had, like, you know, not within our living memory, but within, relatively contemporary history.
Yeah.
We've had disastrous volcanoes that have, the eruptions have created side effects that have destroyed like half the planet. Do you know what I mean?
That one in America, was it Yellowstone?
Yellowstone. If that blows, that's the end.
And that's due.
Yeah, we're due one. Yeah.
It's always overdue, I think. I watched some terrifying documentary on that, and it literally could be any day.
Yeah, I saw that documentary. It's amazing, but those things are like the last of our concerns, which is kind of bizarre. Americans are just like, I'll shoot it in the face if it explodes. ain't gonna touch me. All right. I think thinking about that stuff, it shouldn't be scary. It should just be humbling. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? You should just go, yeah, you know what? I'm not that important.
Yeah.
I'm really not that important.
Yeah.
And the world deserves a refresh. That's why I always loved Star Wars, you know, because it used to start with that line, a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. Yeah. And when I was a little kid, I thought, how can it be a long time ago when everything's futuristic?
Yeah.
But as I've got older, I thought, well, why couldn't there be like entire civilizations that started from scratch, you know, evolved from apes into humans, agriculture, industrial revolution, then technological revolution.
And
then they went too far. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And bang, it all ended. And then it started again. Why not?
The universe is what, 15 billion years old or something, they say.
And there's endless Milky Ways, solar systems, but we're still like, we're the only guys. Like,
what do you think about?
Because we're so amazing.
UFO report that the Pentagon. Did you see that?
Yeah, I don't understand. Yeah, I did. I don't understand people who say I don't believe in UFOs. It's like, I'm not some alien conspiracy guy. I'm not into any of that stuff. But a UFO is just an unidentified flying object. It might not be alien. Yeah. It might be something the government's testing out. Yeah. You know, like they have to test out new inventions at some stage at some place. So that might be what you're seeing.
We just don't know how far ahead they are with technology.
No idea. And why would they tell us?
They say that they had the internet around World War II.
They would have had the basics
of it.
The basic concepts in line by that time. That wouldn't surprise me. They just wouldn't have had the technological advances to make it happen.
Yeah.
And people were smarter then as well than they are now. Yeah. You know, like, don't you ever wonder when you look at these kids like walking around playing fucking Candy Crush all day long? Like, who's gonna be the next generation of geniuses?
I feel like we're going backwards.
In some ways, we're regressing.
Regressing, that's the word. Yeah. As a society, it's like we're regressing.
Yeah, a little bit.
And people are becoming, like you said, like people are just numbing their brains playing Candy Crush all day.
Yeah, and you know, with this pandemic and everything, it's like, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I do have friends who are like, it's all a plan, it's all Elon Musk and do you know what I mean?
Nah, it's Gates, isn't it?
It's Bill Gates and you had the vaccine, now you got 5G like running through your veins. Yeah. They can track everywhere you're going. Yeah. Okay, whatever. But one thing I would definitely say is it does play into the hands of big business and corporate government in the taking us apart from each other, forcing us into isolation, keeping us separate, means one thing. When you feel isolated, when you're on your own, what do? You just look at your phone. You know, people don't fucking read books anymore. You just look at your phone. So, and as long as you're looking at your phone, what are you doing? Scrolling through Instagram, maybe you see that thing. It's just happened to me myself, and I consider myself an intelligent person. Scrolling through Instagram the other day, I saw a Tribe Called Quest t-shirt. That was the same as one I used to have back in the day.
Click, buy.
I was like, bang, side button, bap, and it's come to my house. Yeah. You know, it's perfect. Yeah. Like, this situation is perfect for a couple of pricks to make money that you can't even dream of ever owning. Yeah. You know? So it's hard to separate that from, you know, the reality of
I can't lie, like, I'm not a conspiracy theorist with this COVID thing, but at the same time, it does feel a bit fucking dodgy.
Yeah, it is, because basically, like, when people go, the government planned it, I was like, have you seen this shower of cunts? They're not smart enough to plan this shit.
Hancock and Boris,
but what they will do, any government in the world, is take advantage of situations.
Exactly.
And absolutely, I believe that this plays into the hands of some of the absolute muppets around the world that we've got. Bolsonaro, you know, whoever's going to be the successor of Trump on that side of things, Duarte in the Philippines, and Boris Johnson. You know, there's a bunch of these guys who they benefit massively from widespread suffering and spending. Yeah, those two things. Yeah, you know, I was thinking the other day, right, like, in the 80s, or even in the 90s, even up in as recent as the mid 90s, in the UK, you could be like bus driver, maybe, or like maybe even like a cleaner or whatnot, and you and your missus could save up and buy like a free 4-bedroom house. Yeah. You know, and a car. Yeah. And just go about your business with your little mortgage.
Yeah, not a chance now.
Even me, like, when I was rapping at night, I was doing youth work by day. I was a part-time youth worker, and my missus was a student teacher. Yeah. And we bought a flat. Right. Do you know what I mean? On the right to buy scheme. Yeah. Because we were like key workers and whatnot, and that was 2005.
Wow.
But now, young people need to wise up, like get off the phones for a sec, because their future is being narrowed down into, it's like when Rishi Sunak said, like, if you're a creative, you should probably think about retraining.
Yeah.
Because in an ideal world for a government like ours, everyone would just be worker bees.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everyone would just be worker bees, because if you have like too many creatives, they start inspiring people to do other shit.
Yeah.
To not be worker bees, to be more interesting, to be more challenging.
Yeah.
To be like their worst fear, like some kind of commune, you know? Like the concept of communism is something that I really, really respect. It just doesn't work because humans we're not built like that.
We can't be
we can't share like that. Yeah,
no,
we can't be
it's
equal.
like everybody wants more than someone else.
But it's like the essence of it is beautiful. It's just like the essence of a lot of religious faiths. They're really beautiful, but in practice they don't work, because human beings are mad individualistic, man.
Yeah. I just find like you've got Islam, Christianity, and Judaism. They're all three pretty much exactly the fucking same.
Yeah, all beautiful, really.
Yeah,
at their heart.
they're incredible.
At their heart.
The message is one of peace, love, and positivity. All three of them.
Yeah.
But how they can war with each other over indifferences within that whole story is told is.
It's insane.
It's absolutely in its
Northern Ireland, Israel, Palestine, like.
But Protestant and Catholic, it's the same
it's
religion.
Still going. I know it's still going on now. Like it's exactly the same as it was like when I was a little kid, 30 years ago. It's exactly the same now. It's still that tense. And I just can't get my head around it. But then I was raised an atheist, so.
Are you still an atheist?
No, I think I've become much more like open-minded. Like
how are you? When you say raised an atheist, what do you mean? Like
I was raised to be anti-religion
and not believe in anything kind of God.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, my dad fought in a war. My mum was raised as a Jehovah's Witness, which she really had a backlash to.
Right.
And my dad, seeing war and death and stuff, he had a backlash. The Second World War.
Wow.
My dad was 52 when I was born.
Wow.
So he was old.
Okay, so he was old. So your dad fought in World War II?
Yeah.
Wow.
He was 17.
Wow.
Imagine that.
Is he English?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's from South London. He trained. He had gun training for 2 weeks, and then just on the boat to France and then, to Germany and then France.
Really?
Yeah. He was on the beaches at Normandy, 44.
So what, he did D-Day?
Yeah.
Fuck it. So he's on them landing crafts.
He was on a brand new vehicle called an Avery. So he just invented these new tanks, armored vehicles, and like they were sort of road testing them.
Wow.
So he's on one of those on the boats, rolled up. Like he was there the 2 days before with his two brethren from the tank, and the French around that part of northern France, they were at the time, so desperate. Like they saw Americans and British, they were like heavily welcomed.
Yeah.
It was a crunch time of the war, so he'd been eating for a few weeks now, like powdered egg and powdered potato and all that shit.
Yeah.
And he's seen this girl who he fancied a little bit, this French chick. She worked in a butcher's.
Yeah.
So he was chatting her up, and he was like, do you reckon you could get us some sausages?
Yeah.
And she was like, yeah, I'll get you some sausages. So he went to this butcher's. This is a couple of days before D-Day. Got the sausages, and they were gassed. They got some little French beers, and my dad started a little fire over by the Avery.
Yeah.
And as soon as the fire got big, bang, sniper took his two mates out, and he never ever forgave himself.
Wow.
2 days later, he's on the land side of that those beach landings, and then the 77-day Battle of Normandy begun that day on the 6th of June, 1944. He lasted 33 days before he got injured and sent home, and getting injured is what saved his life.
And did he have to go back after his injury? Was that him done?
Nah, because that Normandy really turned the war completely, and then obviously Hiroshima done, and that was all within a year basically. So he was never gonna go back unless the war didn't end. So he got lucky in a lot of ways. And all this shit I found out in 2004.
So you never
didn't
knew
know
any of
anything
this?
about it, no.
Wow.
It was like the British Legion were looking for survivors of Normandy on the 60th anniversary of D-Day.
Yeah.
And they contacted my family looking for Harvey Smith. And, you know, Smith is a common surname, so I just thought they got the wrong dude.
Yeah.
They were like, nah, like, is this his date of birth? Is this his middle name? Rare. I was like, yeah, it's
So
him.
they had his war record and they went, right.
Yeah. And he got given this, like, I can't remember what the cross was, but it's like for bravery and whatnot. But the thing is, when he came home, he gave all his medals away and he ditched his uniform, gave it to his mum. He didn't go to any of the parades or anything like that because he just thought, what the fuck am I celebrating here? Like, I had 2 friends, I got them both killed. I had to kill people. Like, what's the big celebration?
Yeah.
He couldn't see it. And I think a lot of soldiers felt that way.
Yeah.
So he just completely put it behind him and moved on with his life. But when we found out about that, my sister, who's a novelist, she like interviewed him
Yeah.
for a story in the Telegraph. You can see it online. It's called My Dad, the Accidental Hero, and you can read everything in detail.
Let's get the link to that in the description.
About the story that I've just told you. It's an amazing story. So she interviewed him for like 3 weeks and just got all these tapes and all the details is incredible. And
wow.
That was about 18 months before he died. So it was quite a remarkable end to his life in that respect. I never knew.
So we'd never discussed this with you your whole life? Wow.
I knew he was around in them times. And I think he might have mentioned like doing some army training and stuff just in case, because everyone was getting called up them times. It was like desperate.
Yeah, yeah.
Imagine being 17 and getting called up to war.
Real war.
Like real war, not one of these fucking, you see these young guys that are like, yeah, I did a tour of 6 years. Yeah, you didn't see any action, bro. You're just walking around
Yeah. Nah, that was a different war, that.
Yeah,
that was
different
a proper
gravy. War. Like, so
I think it's the only war that I would actually fight in.
Yeah, because it was, these wars, like, you're thinking,
you can't have
what's
Nazis
the deal
walking.
here? Like, when we went to war after 9/11, it's like, we weren't even fighting in the right country, really.
They chose the wrong country.
Plus, is it even really a country when it's like a person and their little crew who are coming up with an idea? How come you're fighting their country? Do you know what I mean?
It's all very...
That seems a bit mad.
Yeah. And who really did that? Do you know what I mean? Like,
that's like some black guy punched Boris Johnson in the face, so we're gonna go to war with Nigeria.
Yeah.
Even though the bro was like Jamaican.
Yeah. Basically, yeah. That's how crazy it is.
Do you know what I mean? So yeah, that war was real, and they were fighting for freedom, man. They were fighting for our freedom, and for me, like when people say, "Oh, fuck Britain," like how can you be proud to be British, especially as a black person? I am proud to be British.
Yeah, I am.
But it's the British of my describing in my head.
Yeah, same.
Like
bro.
I'm proud of
exactly the same as well.
I'm proud of the best parts of us, like our tolerance, the way that we give, the way that we care. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I think British people, we're let down by a few dickheads. We've seen that with the Euros and whatnot. Yeah. But ultimately, I think when the shit hits the fan, British people are kind of amazing.
Yeah.
Like I remember there was a tsunami in Southeast Asia, and it was on Boxing Day.
Yeah, in Thailand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know how much money we spend at Christmas in this country. And that next day, Boxing Day, like we raised more money than any other country in the world.
Wow.
Considering how much money that working people would have been spending on their own families.
Yeah.
Like that hit, everyone watched it on the news, and everyone in this country gave more than any other country. And we're kind of like that. In fact, even that day I gave, right? But it was like an automated thing, the Red Cross. And I tried to do £25 and I got the decimal point thing in the wrong place on the automated thing, and I gave him £250. And this was the days I was a part-time youth worker. And it was like a mad one, like it was a mad one. I was like, how do you call back and go, look, I care, but I don't care like 2.5 bills care. Do you know what I mean? I just let them have it. But Yeah, like even yesterday I was walking my dog.
Yeah.
And one youth, he was like a teenager, like going home from school or whatever. Like he tried to jump a curb like on his bike from the road up onto the pavement. Yeah. And he just fucked it, and he just came down, and the bike just fell on his ankle hard, and he was just like, like he was in pain. Like he was trying not to cry. Them ones you could tell. Like it's 14, and there was like about 5 people who saw it, me included. And all of us went over. Yeah. Like some old Indian brer, like a young black guy, some white woman who was jogging, me and my dog. Everyone went over there. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? You okay? You okay? Like someone gave him some water. Yeah. I helped him up. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I just think that's the real essence. That's like, when I see that, it's like, I'm proud to be British. Yeah. You know, I don't care what people say. Oh, like, fuck this country. Like,
no, I love this country, man. It's the best place in the world to live.
You know, like
in a lot of ways.
Yeah, and you know, I'm very proud of Jamaica and that side of my family, but and as beautiful as that country is, like, would I rather live there or live here? It's here all day long. Not out of any disrespect to Jamaica, but it's like, look at the opportunity that this country has given me. Jamaica, like, it just wouldn't have happened. It would not have happened. And you know, my family is Jamaican, Irish, and English, and it's like, when I look at the racism I've experienced, some of the worst has been in Ireland and Jamaica.
Really?
Yeah. Because in Jamaica, like, you're too light skinned and you got soft feet, like. Yeah. They think you're like haughty-taughty. Yeah. And then in Ireland, there's like some backwards places. And like here, it's like the racism as we see is like undercover and it pops out in social media or in like these high octane moments. But on the whole, I, as depressing as it is when it happens, I just laugh at it because I just think, what is your life, bro? Like, what is your life? Yeah. And that's what it boils down to, a lot of the racism in this country. It comes from people who are so pissed off at how shit their own life is. Yeah. They just look at anything, especially success within, you know, ethnic minority sense, like with so much resentment. They just can't help themselves. So they go for the lowest common denominator. Yeah. And, you know, you can get upset by it, as I have done, but ultimately you just gotta go from... Has that made your life any better? Yeah. Because all I know is, like, you know, Saka's still earning millions and scoring goals. Like, your life has not really improved. No. If anything, it's probably got worse because you might be going jail now.
Yeah. And you'll still be broke on Friday.
You'll still be broke on Friday, bro.
Drinking piss in some shitty pub, mate.
Do you know what I mean? Like... So, you know, call me an M-word. You know, I'm gonna be upset today, but you're still gonna be poor and depressed tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. It's crazy, isn't it? Yeah. And it's crazy, like, how because they are a minority. I mean, I was born and raised in South Manchester, and on my street that I grew up on was a huge amount of Asian families, huge amount. Few Irish families, handful of English families, but everyone played football together. All the kids played football together. Everyone was
football united everybody.
Yeah, everyone was cool. Do you know what I mean? But then when I went primary school, that was a bit different. That was a bit more of a white primary school, and so I felt it there. But I still didn't feel like, I mean, I experienced racism and whatnot, but it wasn't like I was still at home. But I'll tell you what, when I went India though, bro, I first went India when I was like 8. And never felt so out of fucking place.
That's what I mean. So you had the same experience I had when I went to Jamaica. Yeah. Every time I've been to Jamaica.
Yeah. Never felt so white.
For you. Yeah, exactly that. Yeah, never felt so white. Here's a question for you, right? Where I'm from in West London, like I was born in Kilburn. I grew up around there in Willesden. Very Caribbean, very Irish, and then a very, very heavy Bangladeshi presence. And Indian and Pakistani, right? Most of the best players that I played with from like primary all the way up to like when kids started going for trials and stuff and teenagers all playing Sunday league were South Asian. So Indian, Pakistani or Bangladeshi. Yeah. And yet somewhere between that stage of being like 16, 17, when people are signing professional contracts, and then looking up and down the actual professional league, there's this sudden drop off. And the black kids are still there and the white kids are still there, but the Asian kids are gone.
It doesn't make no sense. I don't understand it either. I don't understand.
There needs an investigation, right? Because
it doesn't add up.
You can call racism on it, but then why are there so many black players?
Yeah.
I've never understood it.
You know, it doesn't matter.
Is it a cultural thing? I don't get it.
Right, so 8% of the UK is from Asian heritage. So that includes like the mixed lot like me, right?
Yeah.
So that's a lot of fucking people. 70 million people.
It's a lot of people.
That's millions.
Yeah.
So out of all of those millions, who grew up born in the 80s, 90s, whatever, never made it to and like you said, bro, in school, like there were kids who were incredible.
I remember them. I had this kid Shahab who was on the wing, like ridiculous. Couldn't get the ball off of him. And we got all that the way to like playing for those teams like Paddington Rec and these West London teams where, you know, pro scouts would come.
Yeah.
You know, I don't understand where the sudden drop off was, unless it was maybe came from the parents.
That's the only thing I can think is like, I
knew some of my Asian friends, their parents were a bit like, you got to knuckle down now, do something serious.
Need to be doctor. Or something.
Yeah. Whereas in Caribbean household, it's like anything's a bonus.
Yeah.
Like,
I think it must be cultural. But I think maybe now, with more first generation people being born here, I think maybe we might see a change within that.
I hope so, because it must be so strange for like Indian, Pakistani, Bangladeshi, British football fans.
Yeah,
watching the game and thinking there's still no one to look up to.
Yeah.
No one.
Yeah.
You know?
I think there's one or two. There's two.
There's literally, you can count them on one hand.
Yeah.
You know, I remember like 15, 20 years ago, it was Chopra.
Yeah.
Michael Chopra. And even he was like you was mixed.
Yeah.
I think, is it Chowdhury who plays at Leicester? I think he's half black, half Indian.
Yeah.
But yeah,
clutching at straws with one half Asian and white.
That's what we got. That's all we got.
Asian and
got
black.
An Indian dude with an afro and a guy who played for Cardiff like 20 years ago.
Once.
Whose first name was Michael.
Yeah, Michael. He was one of it. He probably looked white as well.
We're reaching.
Yeah, man.
Man.
Yeah, it's crazy, innit?
Yeah.
I'm interested to see where society goes as my little girl gets older.
Yeah, it's scary, right, being a parent, because you suddenly have to worry about the future. You have to think about it.
You suddenly become mortal. Like, you know when you ain't got a
kid?
Yeah. Like, you don't care. Like, you'll do certain things, like, where you'll take a lot more risk. Yeah. But the day my daughter was born, it was suddenly... It was like, have you seen, this is a really sad analogy. You've seen Superman when he goes in the machine and he takes his superpowers away.
Oh, yeah.
I kind of felt like that. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'd got in the machine and I'd come out and I could feel things again. And I don't know, it kind of scares you. I think about things all the time.
Yeah, it's weird. Like, because now I got teenagers, but they're both girls.
Yeah.
And...
Both teenagers?
Yeah.
Both girls?
Yeah. Oof. And the thing is, you have this low-level anxiety that never goes, right? From when they're born. It just goes on and on until you die, I guess.
Yeah.
So, like, obviously now they do their own thing and they're with their friends and whatnot. And I can come up to Manchester and see my mates and, you know, maybe even get on a wild one.
Yeah.
But, like, if one of them bailed me.
Yeah.
And I'm in, like, I don't know. I'm in like Wilmslow, like at a house party, off my tits. If one of them bailed me, bruv, I would jump in the car and risk my own life and drive down the M6. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? To make sure they're all right. And that's the thing that just doesn't go away. Yeah. So it's easier because they're not babies, but the anxiety
still there.
It's still there. Like, I feel like I need to be there for them. And I have to check myself sometimes as well, because like, the older one, she bailed me the other day, and she was on the other side of London at her friend's house, and she wanted to stay for dinner. And I was like, yeah, cool. But then I was like looking at my watch, I thought, but then you're gonna get out about 9:30, then you got to get to the tube, and then, you know, it's a bit of a trek across the city. Yeah. And it was Euros as well. I was watching a game, and I'd already had a few beers. I was like, I'm not driving all the way to East London to pick her up
from West.
Yeah, I'm not doing
that's long.
So I was like, just find your own way home, and I hung up. And then I just sat there like, but then she's got, oh man, and then what's it gonna be like 10, and then all the rapists come out at 10. You know, it all starts going through your mind. Like, it's just gonna be like,
10 p.m. sharp.
East, and then where's she gonna have to, if she changes here, then there's weirdos, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was gonna get back on the phone and I did get back on the phone, and I was like, look, maybe like your friend's mum could take you halfway and I'll pick you up the other. And she was like, Dad, I'll get the train, it's fine. Do you know what I mean? I can get the train. Nearly 16 years old, and I thought, when I was her age, like I was already doing LSD, and like I smuggled my way into Glastonbury when I was 15. Do you know what I mean? Like I was doing crazy shit.
Yeah, over the fence.
No, I was in the back of a van under like a stack of like bin bags full of shit. Like suffocating, I could barely breathe. You know, thought I was gonna die like before I got in there.
Yeah.
I was doing all that shit. She like doesn't drink, doesn't smoke, like she just hangs with her friends.
Really? That's
do you know what I mean? They go shopping, they go Westfield, you know.
Yeah. That's good. No drinking,
they
no
gossip,
smoking.
No drinking, no smoking. And you know, maybe she will, but you know, even if she does, I think she's gonna be more measured than I was.
Yeah.
You know? I think kids in general, and this is a generalization, but I think a lot of them are healthier than we were. Like, or a bit more conscious of like what happens to your body. And
I think that because the information is much more available.
Yeah, we didn't have any of that. Just, like when I was 15, I drank till I puked. Cider, just drink it till I puked.
Yeah.
Or pass out, like have a whitey. Yeah. You know.
That's smoking. I smoked
just
from
cheap
early.
hash, shit weed.
Yeah.
Terrible alcohol like cider or MD
2020.
2020.
Yeah, that's petrol. That.
Just the worst shit. And you're like 15, like your body's so pure and fresh, you just already destroyed it.
Yeah.
So yeah, she's nothing like that.
You know what it is? Kids don't go out.
Worried. They don't go out.
There's no one on the street anymore.
No.
Like
we were out all the time, right?
Yeah, morning till night.
You're just out, as long as you can push it.
Yeah.
You know, everyone tells their mum you're at the other kid's house, like, and everyone's just out.
It's mad, innit? The world's changed, bro.
Times have changed, man. Yeah, they really have. But human beings are essentially the same. So one of your big worries as a parent will be, now they got the internet, they got social media. There's nothing like that when I was their age. It's so different. But as soon as you say that, you're basically repeating the same mantra that's happened with every generation.
Yeah.
You know, with our parents, they would have been worried about VHSs. You know, like what are they taping on these VHSs?
Yeah.
And then computer games, violent computer games. You know, every generation had something. Like for our parents, their parents would have been TV, full stop. Like, we used to sit around the radio. Now you got the TV. It's like whatever you can't control is the thing that freaks you out as a parent. But what never changes is the human condition, which is what we started off talking about. That's never changed. We are these same kind of slightly selfish, individualistic creatures who will always behave sporadically, you know. That will never change. So in a lot of ways, parenting hasn't changed. If I could give you one piece of advice that I've learned from nearly 16 years of being a parent of girls, it's just be available, man. You can't control everything. You can't wrap them in cotton wool. You can't force them to do what you want to do. You just got to be available. Be there when they need you. Because the worst kind of parenting is that fucking, I'm in, I'm out, I'm in, I'm out, or I'm just not there at all, you know?
When she was born, I got a tour in China. It's like 4 weeks after she was born, and it was good money. I couldn't not go. And I got there, and I remember feeling so far away. Do you know what I mean? And it kind of changed my perspective about what do I want to do in my life. Do I still want to do this music shit? Like, do I still want to carry on? And I ultimately came to the conclusion, yes, I do, but I need to find a way of balancing it and not live just for that. Everything's just get the next tour, get this, get that, get more money, do more shit. And it was like, I have to have a family now. I have to be a dad.
I stopped stand up because I was just missing so much of the kids. I don't mean missing them like, oh, I miss you. I mean, I was missing like landmarks, and like I'd come home and they look different.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean?
Them first
so I was
years,
just living
like,
out a suitcase.
Yeah.
And I was just like, there has to be a better way of...
Is that why you stopped stand-up? For the
Partly,
kids?
yeah, but also the lifestyle was starting to fuck with me. Like, stand-up's such a weird job.
Yeah.
You do it on your own. You know, it's not like music where you got your boys with you and, you're traveling around with you. You got your sound people and everything. Like, stand-up is like...
Lonely.
You maximize the profits. Like,
Yeah.
the money I was making in stand-up it's ridiculous how much money I was making. But... the downside was there was just nobody to celebrate with. You know, like, doesn't matter if you kill it or you die up there.
It's the same at
if
the
you
end.
die, like, what are you gonna do? You phone your friends, phone your missus. Oh, I'm feeling so low. They don't want to hear that shit.
Yeah.
Or like, if you kill it, do you know what I mean? Like, I remember being in Stockholm, when I was doing the world tour with Gervais.
Yeah.
You know. And we played the Ericsson Globe in Stockholm. That's like nearly 13,000 people.
Fuck.
You know, and I murdered it.
Yeah.
Murdered it. I came off. I was like, just adrenaline. Like, I don't need coke. I don't need ecstasy. I don't need shit. Like, I'm wired.
Yeah.
But then who are you gonna call? You're gonna call your friends. It's like Monday night.
Or your
Like,
agent.
they just finished like working at the post office or whatever, and you're gonna be like, I just killed it, bro. Like, they don't want to hear it. So you're sort of on your own with it, and you're just back in a hotel.
Relatable.
Yeah. And then you're just back in this hotel. Oh, you're in this exotic place somewhere in the world, but you're just in a hotel, really, and you don't know anyone.
Yeah.
So it started to become more and more unhealthy. And then when I did start like getting so bored during the days in the build up to the gigs, which is just those travel days or whatever, then it's like, it hit like 11 and you think, I might as well just have a beer. There's nothing else to do.
Yeah.
And just drink on the way up to the gig. And then the gigs start to get boring. So you start like dabbling in other things. And then like your sleep patterns get all fucked up. And you're just in another world. And I just thought, if I keep doing this, it's actually gonna kill me. I just need to be at home for a while. So that's when I started like really pushing the acting thing, auditioning more and more and more, because it's more like a day job.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes there are late nights and sometimes you are shooting in another country or you're far away.
How much acting had you done during the whole stand-up sort of run?
That was the other thing. I started to do more and more acting during stand-up, and that balance was becoming really hard.
So were those opportunities coming to you, or were you actively seeking them at that point?
Bit of both.
Right.
You know, stand-up, a big element of it is acting. And, you know, casting directors, like, I think one of the first auditions I ever got was for the Inbetweeners, and that was because the writers had seen me
on a stand-up.
Yeah.
Right.
And they thought, you could do this. So, you know, there were opportunities that came through that, but most of the time it was like, I liked doing both, so I just do both. And then that started to become quite difficult to manage. Then stand-up became problematic for me, the lifestyle of it. So, and I just thought, look, you've learned how to do this other thing. Just do that for a while.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's been nearly 4 years since I've been on stage doing stand-up.
Is it 4 years?
It's been so quick. Like, people always like, I saw you like a few months back. Like, I was like, no, you didn't, bro. I ain't been on a stage since 2017.
Really?
So
is it 2017?
it's been a long time.
Would you ever go back?
Yeah, I'd go back, but it would take a lot to get me to go back, because
A lot in what sense? A lot of money or a lot of...
Money's a big part of it, yeah. But I think for me to go back to being alone, I don't know. The great thing about acting is like, it's like a normal job. You can be alone when you want to be alone. The rest of the time, it's a collaborative process.
Yeah.
And I meet like great people at every shoot. And people in that world, they're kind of cooler than comedians as well. Comedians are like a bit weird, do you know what I mean? They're kind of like, because if you keep living that lifestyle like a lot of them do, you've become this like... Recluse, yeah.
From society.
Like from society. So a lot of stand-ups are kind of like social lepers. They don't, you know, and when you're like me, like I'm quite gregarious. I come from rap, like I come from a communal kind of like, you're with your people and you're collaborating, like freestyle sessions and all of that.
It's a social it's a social
and
upbringing.
Acting's more like that. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's that team there for you if you want it. And if you don't want it, cool, you can have some time to yourself. Whereas stand-up, there is no choice. You're on your ones. You got to write it on your ones. You travel on your ones. You perform on your ones. Then you kill or you die
on your
ones, and then you go home on your ones. Do you know what I mean? And it's
fucking shit, man.
Mate,
it sounds shit, man.
It's shit. You're like like in terms of like the glamour of showbiz, you're like one rung above like a juggler. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? It's just the money's sick, bro. The money's sick. Like I remember doing.
But you smashed it in that, bro. Like you absolutely killed that game. You took it to the highest level it could go.
And I had the choice to. You look at like the guys that I was coming up with, like Josh Widdicombe, Ramesh. You know, all these guys. Like we were on the same level at the same time. Yeah. In fact, me and Josh Widdicombe and Sean Walsh and Sarah Pascoe, we were all in the same talent competition when I first jumped from rap into stand-up.
What, you started doing talent competitions?
Yeah, because I just thought it would be the same as rap, right? There's got to be some comedy battles that you do, right? To get in.
Serious?
That's what I did, yeah. I did an international talent search called So You Think You're Funny, which was run by Channel 4. Yeah. So that's like the biggest one. Yeah. But I did other little smaller ones as well. So did you win that? I got to the final, right? Which is enough because in the final,
enough people seeing you.
Yeah, the final, the audience is all producers, booking agents, comedy companies, everything. You know, I got my agent through that competition.
So is that how it started?
That's how it started. Yeah, competitions.
Wow.
So I was in a final with all these kids that are like household names now. Yeah. And I look at them. And I think, of course, I could have done that, but I didn't want it enough. You know, it got to that stage where it was like, BBC are offering you your own show, ITV are offering your own show, Channel 4 are offering your own show. You know, and you can see how Ramesh has done it, or Josh. You know, they're good examples, or Joel Dommett, or someone like that. All these guys like I come up with, they've said yes, and they've got this show that they present, that show that they present, 100 shows, and they're making great money as well. But for me, it just wasn't. That wasn't for me.
Really? Why? What was it that held you back from wanting to do that?
Couple things. Number one, I love my privacy. Yeah. And like my friends, I don't have celebrity friends. Like all my friends, I've got the same friends that I had when I was a teenager. And they're also the same ones that go, bruv, hold it down, like you're being a prick. You know? I need them around, and I like going to the pub with them. I like getting high with them. I like doing dumb shit with them. You know, or most of us have got kids now. I like getting together, like going to park.
Barbecues, all that shit.
The celebrity life is bullshit. Like
it's faking it.
Fame is so far down my list of things that I love. Like number one is like being an artist. I love being an artist. I love waking up and going, maybe I'll do this. Yeah. Maybe I'll create this, or maybe I'll just fucking get high and kick back and do nothing. Yeah. Or maybe I'll hang with my kids. Yeah. I love that. Yeah. That's my number one. Number two is money. Like I don't fiend for money. Yeah. Like I don't worship it at all. Yeah. Because deep down I don't believe in it. Yeah. But I want to have enough money not to worry about money.
It's a freedom.
Do you see what I mean? Yeah. Yeah, yeah. So I don't actually desire great wealth because I think loads of complications come with that. Yeah. You know, all of a sudden people treat you different. Mm-hmm. It's weird around people.
You pay more for shit.
You might feel like you got friends in financial stress. You need to lend them money. Then you've got like the problem of lends with friends and stuff like that. IOUs and shit. It's better to have enough money. Yeah. And that's my goal. Just have enough money not to worry about money. That's it. Fame is like, do you know what I mean? Who wants that? Who wants like people in your business that you don't know? Yeah. Like, why would you want that? Yeah. and people say, well, no, but what about recognition? That's different.
Recognition is different to fame.
People who like post me messages, craft, you know, going, bruv, like the biggest one, like I really made my mark through this kids show that I created for CBBC. Yeah. And it was 10 years ago now. So there's kids that watch that show that are now in their 20s. Wow. And when they stop me in the street or message me online and say, bruv, like you were my childhood, or you inspired me to do this, or you inspired, like that is like, yes, like that kind of, I don't know if you call that fame, but that kind of recognition. Yeah. I fucking love that. Yeah. Like I live for that. Yeah. But I've noticed as well, like all these celebrities that are like, oh, the press won't leave me alone, or like, no, out of my business. I think, you can court it a little bit as well, though,
exactly.
bruv, because like I think there's people who I'm probably the same level of fame with, but everyone's in their shit, and they're in the papers, and and I'm not, and I've probably done crazier shit than them. Well, why am I not? It's because there's certain venues. I'm not going to certain venues. I'm not going to certain nights. You're not
plastering it on Instagram.
Like these guys have got PR people that they're paying to tell them be at this night because you'll get photographed, and then that could lead on to another job. Or if you go and you wear the Hugo Boss, then we can get you a deal with Hugo Boss, and you know, we can get you in the Evening Standard of Society pages, and they're doing all that shit. You know, I'm like, bro, I can fucking dress myself. You know, I'm not going to that party because it's gonna be shit. If you've ever like gone into those upper echelon parties, they're always so shit. Like they can't compare to your brethren's house party, like down the road. Where you know, like this guy is DJing and he's sick. Like I hosted probably the biggest gig, not the biggest in terms of audience numbers, but in terms of who the audience was. I hosted a BAFTA event in Hollywood, right? And you know, the front row is like Samuel L. Jackson, Jennifer Lawrence, Jodie Foster, Tom Hanks, Jake Gyllenhaal. I'm talking about A-list, right?
Proper celebrities.
And I performed to them, and I name checked them, like.
So did you freestyle that one? Or did you know they were gonna be there?
Yeah. And like every joke that I wrote, like had to be vetted by the company that produced the night.
Really?
Yeah, I had to keep performing it in their office in Santa Monica. Like every day, like every time I wrote something new, they'd say, "I'll do," and I'd do it, and they go, "Oh no, you can't say that." Like one time they said, "You can't say Sam Jackson, you have to say Samuel L. Jackson." I was like, "Fuck, this is fucking bullshit." So like they had to okay every part of the script, and then on the day, I thought it was so vanilla. I remember I spoke to Ricky, and he was like, "Fuck that, just do your thing, man. Like, what are they gonna do? Like, pull you off stage halfway through? Just do your thing." That's exactly what I did.
How did he get away with that?
Exactly.
That was brutal.
So I just thought, if Ricky's telling me, like, that's what I'm gonna do. So it wasn't like as harsh as anything like Ricky Gervais, but I did sort of lightly take the piss out of Samuel L. Jackson, you know, and people like that in the crowd. I ripped Piers Morgan because it's Piers Morgan,
isn't it?
But I did a little rap as well, and it was, you know, undeniably the highlight of my career. Like Samuel L. Jackson came backstage afterwards to say, "Bruv, you killed it." We had a photo together. I was just like, I'm on cloud nine.
Was he cool?
He was cool as shit. And Tom Hanks was like everything that deep down you hope Tom Hanks would be.
He was.
Just like the uncle that you never had. Do you know what I mean?
I always thought he can't be
beautiful
this
man. No, he
nice.
really is.
Right.
He really is. Anyway, my point is, there's an after party, right? I'm like, am I at the? Of course, I'm at the fucking. Are you mad? Like rave with these guys, like. So you go into this big hall in the Beverly Hills Hotel. And I'm thinking, you know, and I've got all these LA people saying like, "You're the shit, you're amazing. What are you doing next? You've got to come back to LA. We got work for you." I'm like, I'm thinking this is the pinnacle of my career, and I'm going to like a proper upper echelon party with A-list Hollywood stars, right? I've made it, bro. Walk into the room now. It's like, here's the equivalent of what this party was like. You know them like end of year like office parties where they rent out a hotel for the Christmas do. And there's some brer spinning like Maroon 5. Can't mix to save his life. Do you know what I mean? Just stop that tune. Put on some Eric Prydz or whatever his name is.
Slower and wheel.
Oh, Jesus Christ. And just like, you know, warm champagne off a tray. Like some like slaves walking around. I was just like, this is so no dancing.
Really?
Yeah, everyone prang. Like, is someone recording me? Is someone like, do you know what I mean? So this is such a, it's like the shittest party ever.
So what did you do? Did you stay there?
No, I just bounced, man.
Really?
Like I bounced, and like I had like some of my family live in New York, and they come over, and like we were all renting like a house in West Hollywood. So we all just bounced from there, and like my agent came as well, and he knows LA, so he was like, let's go to Chateau Marmont. Like if you want to experience like the proper, you know, celebrity haunt where it's a bit more
of a vibe.
Yeah. So we went there, and that was cool, man. And I saw like more famous people there, but they were like way more. I think they've got
More
that
chilled,
vibe in there, like no phones and whatnot.
Yeah. I love LA, man. I fucking love.
That's the only time I've been. I don't think I could live there, but I'd quite like to do another job there.
Yeah, I couldn't live. And there's no way I could live there. But every time I've been like for shows or whatever, like I just always had the best time ever, man.
Yeah, like they know how to do that stuff.
Yeah.
Like they know how to really celebrate.
Yeah.
You know, and they celebrate success in a different way that we do.
Yeah.
I think everyone's just so much more positive.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about America in general.
Yeah.
But the other side of it, I just can't deal. I mean, my sister lived out there for 12 years, and she's just moved back. New York.
Right.
She's just moved back, and you know what? She just couldn't deal with the racism, the guns, and Trump was like the final
Even in
straw.
New York, racism.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. And she just couldn't deal with it. And obviously, racism is like it's a sliding scale over there, but it's everywhere, and it's just so much more virulent. Do you know what I mean? She was just bored of it. She just couldn't deal with it anymore.
I couldn't have my kids in school.
Nah, man, that was the thing, because her kids, my niece and nephew, my niece especially, was getting towards that high school age. Yeah. And she was just like, you know, you got to go the gun checks and all of that, and she was just like, I'm not doing it.
What the fuck is wrong with them? Why have they not just banned these guns?
They can't, because it's embedded into their DNA.
Yeah.
You know,
is it the Fifth Amendment or something?
And it's there's race tied up in that. But even black people will say, "No, I'm not giving up my guns. Are you mad?" It's like, if white people ain't giving up their guns, I'm not giving up my guns. Do you know what I mean? That's their whole vibe. And I just can't deal with.
Why don't they make it harder to get them? Why is any old fucking lunatic allowed to walk into the local fucking Asda and buy a
That's
gun?
what needs to change, and I think that's the thing that they could do without too much controversy, because the NRA and Americans in general, they want their guns. Okay, I get it, but let's at least have like proper background checks.
Exactly. Like,
you know,
at least present some fucking ID and prove that you're not a lunatic.
Yeah, but you know, I'm not a lunatic, but I wouldn't want a gun in my house with kids. You just never know.
No.
You hear about these things, you know, the kids like find the gun, they're playing with it, bang. You know,
my little girl picks up everything.
That's what I'm saying.
Everything.
That's
no
what
way
I'm saying.
She wouldn't pick up that gun.
You can't have gummies around the house anymore,
nah,
bruv.
Man.
You need to put them high up on the shelf or something, lock them in a little safe or something.
No, it's real, man. I just don't. How many more kids are gonna have to die in schools?
Exactly. Like, aren't they bored of this shit?
It's every month.
It's like you need the president's kid to get murked in like a school.
Someone high profile needs to get
before something changes. Yeah. So I don't know, man.
And even then, you know, I don't think they fucking would. I don't think they would. I think they'd just crack on with it as normal. It's so strange for a country that is so incredibly forward-thinking.
It's wicked, man. It's a wicked country, man.
But then on the other end, it's so fucking backwards.
Yeah. And the Americans I meet are all amazing, but that's because they're outward looking, like they travel. They
East Coast, West Coast, it's like...
They got passports, they want to go Europe. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? They want to see the world. They want to know what people think of them, you know, whereas a lot of the country's super insular. And then you go to certain places where, like Dave Chappelle would say, the racism is just... perfect. Stewed to perfection.
It's fucking nuts, bro. I remember I went to Charleston once. Was it Charleston?
Louisiana.
Was it in Louisiana? Do you remember we went there? Yeah. And it was the weirdest fucking place I've ever been. Crazy. And I went to Nashville once. That was surprisingly very normal. Apart from the way they speak, which was fucking crazy.
Yeah, you got to get your head around that fried chicken type voice.
Yeah. I remember like going to this after party. We did this show there. And then we went to this after party. And everyone was like cool as fuck. And I remember when I was flying there thinking, I'm not looking forward to this show. I'm just going to do the show and I'm going to go back to the hotel. And then that's it.
Yeah,
just chill with the fam. But now we partied and it was cool. It was really cool. But yeah, Charleston. Yeah, that's different, man.
Yeah, but there's so many places like that just seem so singular in a way that I can't imagine the UK ever being. Like, my brother lived in Atlanta for a bit. And I remember, like, he bailed me, he was like a few days in.
Yeah.
I was like, what's it like? He goes, bruv, everyone's black.
Yeah.
And I was like, what do you mean? He goes, I mean everyone. I mean like the police, cab drivers, the dry cleaner.
Yeah.
Everybody's black, like everyone.
Yeah.
I was like, that's a trip.
Yeah.
And he's like, bro, everywhere I go, everyone is black.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's like
Atlanta's
a black
mad
world.
like that. Yeah.
It's a black world. I was like, that's deep. Like, as far as you can travel, everyone's black.
Atlanta's mad
I can't deal with the way Atlanta, apparently, you know, I've not been, is an amazing place with a lot of soul and a lot of positivity and a lot of beauty. But I just can't comprehend entire cities of just one, like a monoculture.
Yeah. It's crazy, isn't it?
Whether it's, you know, nice or not, it's irrelevant to me. Like, it's more about how's this happened.
Yeah.
Like, you lot have agreed to disagree.
Yeah.
And that, like,
yeah,
from a mixed race perspective, I find that, I don't know, ultimately it's depressing to me. Because it's fine, like, you lot have got your thing, and then whatever the white part of Georgia is, they've got their thing.
Yeah.
But it's a bit like, really? Is that what it is? Yeah, you lot have just gone, you go there, we'll go here.
Yeah.
Like, America's quite separatist, man.
Yeah.
And like I say, even in New York, they all work together. You know,
Their
but they
civil
don't
war,
live together.
It never really glued back.
Find some mixed race people in New York.
Well, yeah.
The first time I went to New York was 95.
Right.
And I would go in to like bodegas and get like a drink, or, you know, go and pick up some swishers or something like that. And people would speak in Brooklyn, people would speak to me in Spanish when I walked in.
Same.
Because they, like, the last thing in their
open
mind,
your mouth and they look at you
they're
like
like,
you
what
just
the fuck?
dropped off another planet.
The last thing they could possibly imagine was that a black person and a white person had a baby.
Yeah.
Like, that was their last thing.
And
it's
it'd be
like
cool.
Spanish first, maybe,
Yeah.
then we'll work our way down from there.
I remember getting lost in LA, right? We ended up on, you know, that it was in Riverside, yeah? We were trying to find the hotel, and my friend's driving the car, and we're in this hood now. You see in bare essays, like, you know, like the whole white socks and
Yeah, and the button ups.
Yeah, and there's this 7-Eleven there, and my mate goes, right, you go fucking ask him where the hotel is. And I was like, nah, you fucking go. He goes, I'm not fucking going in there. You go, I'm white. And I went in there, and so everyone's speaking Spanish, and then the woman goes, hola, and I went, do you know where the Ramada is? And she looked at me like, what the
What is that? What is this?
What is this?
What is that?
It's like, do you know where the Ramada is? Like, she couldn't even understand what I was saying.
Yeah.
I said, Ramada Hotel, the Ramada She was like, what? And she just could not I'm saying the fucking Ramada Hotel.
Yeah.
And then someone stood in the queue, like, clocked on to, like, what I was saying. I was like, you gotta go take a left, take a right, or whatever the fuck you were saying. But yeah, they just can't
comprehend it. And there's still black Americans now who are like, so y'all got black folk in England? You know what I'm saying? Like, they're still like, they still think it's just Hugh Grant. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's crazy, man.
That's why I like fucking with artists over there, because they get it. you
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
Like, they understand what London is and
They know the culture. They
Manchester.
understand the culture.
Yeah. They get it. They get it.
Yo, check this out, right? So the other day, we're doing this like film thing for Discovery at the minute. So it's about slavery, about the history of slavery. So we went to, you know, the Slavery Museum in Liverpool.
Yeah.
And we had this really cool guy, man. He was like a professor. He's from Leeds, like mixed race guy from Leeds, and he'd studied the back out of this.
Right.
And so we got this list of questions to ask him from Discovery, rah. And we're conversating with him anyway. And he goes a bit off script and he starts telling us bare shit. So check this out, what I found out, and this fucking blew my mind, yeah? So you know the Civil War?
It's not David Olusoga, no, with the little dreads.
No, he's called Richard. What's his last name, Martin? It's called Richard. I can't remember his last name. That's bad, that, innit? But yeah, he's absolutely, like, he's a beautiful guy, man.
Yeah.
Fucking the guy enriched my soul that day. Like, it was sick. Anyway, so check this out. This I found absolutely crazy. So Civil War, well, obviously it was about slavery, wasn't it? It was about Unionists versus the Confederates. So in Manchester and Liverpool is where all the cotton factories are, or the cotton mills. And we were buying all that cotton in Manchester and Liverpool from the southern states. So it was not in anyone's interest, the businessmen here,
Of course.
for that
the
to
profit
end.
margins were amazing.
Yeah, it was free labor.
Of course.
So they were sending guns, ships, finances, all over to the Confederate Army. Like, obviously, undercover, because officially Britain was anti-slavery and on the side of the Unionists. But they were building the Confederate ships here and then sending them over, you know, to fight the Union Army. So when the Confederates got beat in 1865 or 66, the last ship to surrender, the last Confederate ship to surrender to the Unionists was on the River Mersey.
Wow.
So effectively,
the
American Civil War ended
here
in Manchester.
Yeah.
Or I think it was Liverpool. In the River Mersey, Liverpool.
It's unreal, but I can believe it. You know, it's been well documented now that we were the kind of financiers, you know.
Yeah.
Barclays Bank especially, but yeah, man, we were all over that shit. We benefited massively. And then we got the best of both worlds. We got to look like this super liberal country, like the chief abolitionists were British, and we were the smart ones, and we treated our black people well, you know, all that shit. But the truth is quite different, man.
That slavery museum is absolutely fucking harrowing.
I gotta get there.
Yeah, it'll mess you up a bit. You know, the thing that I just can't get out of my head, which it really sort of disturbs me, is they've got a picture of this advert for people.
For buying people, yeah.
And it says like male 41, prime, field, female 16, poor eyesight, house.
Yeah.
Like, and the price next to them.
Yeah. The fucking Amazon reviews underneath.
Do you get me?
Yeah, it's like it's crazy. I went to the they've got a similar place, Aboriginal Museum in Melbourne, and bruv, I was in tears, and obviously I knew a lot less about their story than slavery, and it just, I was absolutely in tears. I couldn't believe it, you know. The blood on the hands of this country is insane. But like I say, the pride I have in being British is not about that. It's about the rejection of those ideas.
Exactly.
You know, it's about the rejection, the acceptance of that past, and the rejection of the beliefs around that past. The pride I have is in our progressive nature. It's in our tolerance, you know. To be Great Britain, to be truly great, like that's what we need. I think the progressive attitudes, the tolerance, you know, that's what I'm proud of.
No, serious. Bro, this conversation has been absolutely sick. Thank you so much for this,
man. It's a pleasure, man. It's a pleasure.